Colburn Bible, Book 3, The Book of Scrolls, Chapter 1, Sacred Registers, Part 1. SCL 1:1. Herein are recorded sacred things, which should never be written, but the memory of man is like a storehouse made of straw, or like a store pit dug in sand. SCL 1:2. Even less enduring is his body, for it is a frail thing of fleeting substance, which passes away like the dew in the morning, and one of the mortal chain which links the generations in knowledge. Behold, it is a thing prone to distortion, a transmuter of tradition and truth. SCL 1:3. Therefore, when the command went forth from the Great One, illuminated with wisdom, and came to your servant, he saw fit to quell the doubts engendered by fear, and undertook to do the thing which had not been done before, placing his trust fully in the protecting wings which are spread by the words issuing from the royal residence. SCL 1:4. These are the words spoken by the great interpreter, who, through the powers inherited by him from above, and by the powers now in his keeping, all freely bestowed upon him by the grateful hearts of his people below, will lead us into the fields of everlasting glory. SCL 1:5. O exalted one, intermediate between gods and men, what we now do for you, do you for us. Let your deeds and your words become our words. Thus it ever was, and thus it will ever be, while mortal beings make pilgrimage through this valley of tears. SCL 1:6. Speak thus in your hour. The high-born one has not blasphemed the divine powers, nor has he paid undue homage to earthly desires. He has not been loud-mouthed in the sacred places, nor laughed when he should have been grave. His tongue is pure, for when fed with the words of men, he absorbs truth and excretes falsehood. His mouth has never spewed forth words of malice or envy, words of oppression or injustice never passed his lips. SCL 1:7. Look now at the great dark water mirror, and see what is reflected there from the mist swirling along the corridor of time. Seeing your place, make ready, so that when the summons comes from the Dark One, you are not caught unprepared. SCL 1:8. These are the words to be spoken to those who peer from beyond the dark portal. His arm was ever ready to help those who did good for others, and he lent his power to those who ordered what was good. He stood for those who could no longer stand, and commanded for those who could no longer command. He carried the weary and succored the helpless. He never oppressed the weak, nor did he permit injustices to go unpunished and unrectified. SCL 1:9. He stood by the side of the great potter, and because of his plea, the clay was shaped to a more pleasing form. He erased disfiguring faults and smoothed the roughness. He added stiffness to the mixture. SCL 1:10. He has done no evil. His words have always been true. He stands unashamed and fearless before the twin shrines, even as it was in the land of the great river. So let it be here. Let him not be cut off by distance. SCL 1:11. Let not his power be cut off, for he stands between the worlds. Let it flow out like living waters unto the living, and be as shining rays to the radiant ones. For here we see the power darkly, while beyond the horizon it shines brightly. SCL 1:12. He is everlastingly faithful in heart, for he has admitted no other who would defile him. He has remained loyal to the sacred words, and has diligently perused the great writings. He has navigated the shallows of the winding waters. Now he draws near. SCL 1:13. He has left his kingdom of trial. He has overcome the challenges of life. He has done all things written on the tablets of truth, and he has sojourned in the chamber of profound silence. He has done all things which are proper, and being reassured that he has followed the right path, he does not fear judgment. SCL 114. Let him reunite with the Supreme One, who sent him forth, so that he will not be separated from the waters of life. Let the holy heat enwrap him when he passes through the place of coldness. Let his nostrils inhale the breath of nourishment, that he may live, and that we may partake of his existence. SCL 115. Do not repudiate him, but make him welcome. Do you not recognize the one you endowed with power? Has he become too radiant? Is his form too glorious? Read what is written in the books of his heart. You set him in darkness, and he saw. You set him in silence, and he heard. You set him in emptiness, and he felt. You established him in nothingness, and he gathered substance. Therefore, he returns with manifold powers. He is well fitted to be presented to those who stand before the Supreme One. SCL 116. When the bright sun shines with splendor in the day skies above, the gentle morning star hides her face in modesty and becomes unseen. All the great company of the radiant night lights withdraw before the majesty of the greater light. Yet when darkness eats the shining disk, we know again the comforting presence of the eternal stars. So let it be with your servant. SCL 117. The dark ones who dwell in their compatible gloom cannot claim him as one of their own. He cannot be numbered among their dreadful company. His heart is pure. His deeds were good. No creature spawned in murkiness has gained control of his thoughts. His desires have not been generated by denizens of the darkness. SCL 118. He who was afflicted here is not afflicted forever. He is made whole. He is freed from pain. His sickness has departed. He rejoices in the light. Therefore let him be drawn towards the greater light, where you are. Let him not see the place of darkness. Let him not behold the hideous ones fashioned by wickedness, the dwellers in the dark recesses, who shrink before the light, or the twisted ones, molded by lewd desires. SCL 119. He brings with him a lamp lit from the flame of truth. He bears the rod of righteousness, which rewards those who have overcome tribulations. Oh, let him pass to the right side of the dividing flame. He has left us. He is coming to you. He approaches. He throws off the earthly wrappings. He stands free. He stands glorious. Does he not glow with splendor? Behold him, your worthy companion in brightness. Is he not wholly compatible with those of your company? See, he is a shining one, a hero of the horizon. Is he not one destined to abide everlastingly? Take him, lead him to the realm of glory, show him his place in the spheres of splendor. SCL 120. The eyes that were deceived on earth now see clearly. Oh, what splendors are revealed! The music unheard by earthly ears now sounds sweet, melodious music. Oh, what joyous rapture it brings! The nostrils inhale perfumes too delicate for the earthly nose. Oh, how the heart sings! All drabness, all dullness, and all sordidness, which are of the earth, are left behind. Turn him from the place where these can regather about him. SCL 121. The unmoving, empty body remains here before our eyes. It is nothing. It sees not. It hears not. It speaks not. It smells not. Its breath is stilled. It begins to fall apart. There is no life, and the overseer has departed. Nothing remains here with us but this unresponsive thing. The greatness, the feeling, the sensitivity have departed from the body and are now beyond our ken. These are with the real surviving being. Oh, receive him into the life of splendor. We who are here stand blinded behind the veil of flesh. We cannot see beyond ourselves. We hope, we believe, and we trust. Thus it has ever been with men, for they pass their lives behind a wall of limitations. There is a barrier shutting them in. They are imprisoned within a mortal body. Oh, grant us fulfillment. Grant us that which is the ultimate desire and aspiration of men. SCL 122. We speak for this man. He is one who came with us from afar. He is one who has traveled a long, weary road. No taint of meanness stained the purity of his spirit. No corruption of deceit discolored the garments of his soul self. He has gone overshining in radiant splendor, so even the doomed in their darkness can hope when they sight his distant glow. May it shed some small warmth into their grim coldness. SCL 123. O great welcomer, who greets the newcomers, help our departed one. He served well in this place of trial and tribulation. Let him not go unrewarded. He is the son of hope, like us, like those who went before. He hoped as men have always hoped, for this is not a place of certainties. If it were, our heritage of glory would be badly earned. SCL 124. He lives because it is ordained that he live. He lives for all men live everlastingly. They die not, they perish not, they endure through ages. His Kohar awaits him and needs hide no awful aspect and shame. Let his face shine in greeting. Welcome home the wanderer. SCL 125. This tombed structure is not a place of finality. The grave is not the goal of earthly life, any more than the soil is the goal of the seed. Does seed die within the ground? Is it planted, intended that it be mingled with the soil and lost? SCL 126. O great welcomer, let your face shine with gladness when you greet the homecoming wanderer. Lead him to the Kohar, which is his inheritance, that he may enter into it and enjoy its embrace. Let him find completion and fulfillment by absorption into his Kohar. SCL 127. Our departed one was the whole part which came forth from the whole, and he returns to the whole. Nothing is lost, nothing is gone. He lives over there, lives more fully than he ever lived. He lives in splendor, he lives in beauty, he lives in knowledge and in the waters of life. He is everlasting. SCL 128. O departed one, risen to glory, you are now a released spirit, united with your spirit whole, the companionable Kohar, the everlasting one. Arise, alive in the land beyond the horizon, and journey to the land of dawning. The stars accompanying you will sing for joy, while the heavenly signs voice hymns of praise and gladness. You are not far removed from us. It is as if we were in one room divided by a curtain. Therefore, we are not sorrowful. If we weep, it is because we cannot share your joys, and because we no longer know your touch. SCL 129. O everlasting Kohar, take this man of goodness into your eternal embrace. Let your life become his life, and your breath his breath. He is your own. He is the drop returning to the filled pitcher, the leaf returning to the tree. You are the repository of his incarnations. As you grew there, so he grew here. You are everlastingly whole, and he lives in you. If he is not even as you in face, let him enter hide his faults, for they are not many. For this you were fashioned, for this you came into being. You are the overbody awaiting the returning spirit, and the spirit now comes. You are that which will clothe the newly arrived spirit in heavenly flesh. You are that in which our departed one will express himself. SCL 130. O Kohar, hear us. Here is your vitalizing essence. Before you were incomplete, now you are whole. Draw your own, your compatible one to you, and observe the many likenesses. We send fragrances, that they may spread around you. Now take the eye which will perfect your face. It is the perfecting eye, the eye which sees things as they are. See the fluctuating wraith. Is it not beautiful? Does it not come with an aura of fragrance, sweetness filling the air? It has been purged of all impurities. All about it is fragrant. Therefore, grant it your substance, that it may become solid and firm. SCL 131. O Kohar, long have you awaited the day of fulfillment, the day of your destiny. That day is here. It is now. Therefore, take the spirit which is your own and enfold it with your wings. Each to his own, and to his own each goes. You and he are bound together with unseverable ties. Each without the other is nothing. Now bear him up, for in that place you are greater than he, for you are the generator, while he rested in the womb. You were active as he grew. You grew before him. If he has done wrong, and who among men is guiltless, then in you let the wrong be adjusted. You are his hope, you are his shield, and you are his refuge. SCL 132. This we say to the brilliant one, the guardian of goodness, the departed one, has not walked with ignorance. He has not been slothful in carrying the burden of his duty. He has not been swayed by passions of the body. He has not despoiled the house of another. He has not caused undue sorrow, nor has he maltreated a child for pleasure. He has succored the poor and weak. He has done all that is good. Therefore, let none of those who lurk in darkness seize him. His radiant light is strong. Those who would seize him are repulsed by the light and slink away. He lives forever. SCL 133. He has lived worthily. He has been purified by the fires of earthly life. He has been refined in the furnace of tribulation. He has overcome all earthly temptations. He has lived the life which enhances goodness. He has prepared himself for life in the light. Receive him, O brilliant one. SCL 134. O Kohar, absorb into yourself the life force. It was meant for you. It is yours. It is the enlivening spirit which spans the two worlds. He, the departed one, was you, and even more so were you he. Come to him as the beauteous one came to Belus, a great king, and gathered him in compassion and love. Come that he may awaken to new life in your arms. SCL 135. This man, the departed one, who in unity with you becomes the glorious one, was born of a god, and is the child of two gods, after the nature of greater men. Now you are impregnated with the living spirit of he who was prepared by trial on earth for you. Behold, in unity your twain are now throbbing with life, and your brightness bedazzles the eyes. You are now a star of life, a living star, and to a star you shall ascend to rule its life. SCL 136. The departed one is now freed. He is loosed from the bonds of illusion. He is saved from the dark waters of unreality, and is one with the eternal light. These things we declare, so let them be. Our thoughts mold a new reality beyond the present real, and this becomes the reality of tomorrow. SCL 137. O great substantial Kohar, protect this departed one, your own, from the accusations of false-fronted beings, remembering the faithful heart ever prevailing before the balances of our forefathers. From far away, put into his mouth those words which open doors. Let the goodness in him prevail, but you yourself stand up and bear witness. For him, he suffered from the frailties of men. He was wrathful when provoked, and surely when enduring great burdens, his temper flashed quickly. When his words were not accepted, or his ways followed, and at times he lacked consideration. However, these are small things, inseparable from the frailties of mortal men. In all greater things he was good. Let not the false-fronted one, disguised in his brother's form, possess him. Guard him from the beings lurking in the shadows, this side of the darkness. SCL 138. I see this, my brothers, behold. The departed one goes to meet his own image. It is his own self reflected in his image. It is his own self that comes to greet him. It is his Kohar which embraces him. It welcomes him as though he were one ransomed from captivity. I see them blend, and he becomes a new seed in the heart of his Kohar. SCL 139. I hear the Kohar speak. It names itself Neva Kohar. It says, O man of pure thoughts, of kindly words, of quiet speech, of good deeds, come to me. I am your being, yet I am not you. As you have loved and cherished me, so I now love and cherish you. I am your reward, as I would have been your affliction. They are now united, and this is the place of the first threshold, from whence the complete beings depart. SCL 140. The departed one now stands in his own form and likeness. He becomes the great ship-borne voyager and passes over the waters to the place of reeds. But his weaknesses do not bear him down, and he goes through. Great ones lift him up. Let him not fall into the fetid waters of decay. He is a worthy son of Luth. Then the lesser is carried by the greater, while dark ones gaze up from their misery and wait silently to see if he is borne up. The glorious one goes past in peace, for he is not compatible with their dark company. He remains unmolested, for flame confounds the hands of slime. SCL 141. An unloosed dark one comes up saying it will take this man, but is repulsed by brightness. It is a thing of maimed rottenness, for on earth it was clothed in lust-saturated flesh, though contained in a form of beauty. The heart of this man is not faint. See him now. Is he not sure of his welcome among beings of glory? He is as the wild bull, the prince of herds. He is a great one among the everlasting spirits. SCL 142. He reaches the firm ground where a bright being welcomes him, and he is named the newcomer. He has landed on the shore and climbed the steps of splendor. He is in the company of shining spirits, and his earth-life companions greet him. They welcome him, saying, All this beauty and splendor is yours to enjoy. They bring garments of beauty, bright clothes of radiance. SCL 143. He has passed through the hall of judgment. The twin truths have heard his plea, and those who bore witness have departed. He has crossed the waters and ascended the steps. Now he has attained the threshold of immortality and stands in rapture. He has passed by the regions of darkness and gloom and is with glory. He comes to everlasting life in a true form of splendor, to dwell evermore as a living spirit within his Kohar. How wonderful it is to be united and one with the Kohar. SCL 144. The newcomer looks back across the waters to the place of decision. Then he turns and ascends the steps to the threshold of immortality. He is in his true form, yet he is a spirit within his Kohar. He speaks, but it is not the speech of men, and all understand him. His hearing is all-embracing. He sees both the powers of light and the powers of darkness. But the powers of darkness no longer affect him. SCL 145. The newcomer has reached his compatible abode. He has fought the battle, which is mortal life, and risen supreme to victory. He has not been vanquished by the raging ones, which are the bodily passions. At each step forward, he has left a lifeless form. At each step, he has fought a shadow. At each step, he has won the clash of arms. SCL 146. The newcomer has sought out and discovered the one hidden behind the two and the three, which stand before them. He knows the secrets of the nine, which veil the others from the eyes of men. He has unraveled the skein of life's mysteries, even as those enlightened ones yet living on earth must do. SCL 147. There is no suffering or pain in the newcomer. He cannot feel hurt, neither can he be sorrowful. If a companion of his earth journey be numbered among the dark ones, then his heart is soothed with forgetfulness. But later he will remember, and because of his efforts, the dark one will be returned to the crucible. Goulburn Bible, Book 3, Scrolls, Chapter 2, Sacred Registers, Part 2. SCL 2:1. The writings of Jarmai were brought by the hands of Nedayath, the enlightener of the twin cities, whence comes the sons of fire. When he fled the wrath of kings, he spread out before the learned ones beauteous things of many colors, and spoke to them after this fashion. And I, Lavas, recorded it in the tongue of the sons of fire. SCL 2:2. Behold, this, it is the land of the dawning. It stands between the land of light, ever splendid, and the land of darkness, ever gloomy. They are the lands beyond the veil. Before the veil is the land of the living. SCL 2:3. The aspiring one has embarked on the waters of illusion. His craft is afloat, but it has not yet reached the shores, where the promise of new life is fulfilled. Now he is guided by two beings, one a lovely maiden, and the other an ill-visaged man. These two strive one with the other, each grasping one side of the craft. Now it overturns. The maiden seeks to drag the aspiring one down, while the ill-favored man seeks to keep him afloat, but the aspiring one struggles against him. They come to the sands of the shining shore, where the light of truth turns the maiden into a vile-faced hag, and the man into a handsome youth. The aspiring one lies on the sands of Shadu, as one dead, for he had fought against the man who sought to save him. SCL. The beauteous one comes, attended by handmaidens, and with them are the companions of the aspiring one's earthly life. There, too, is his soul self, awaiting his embrace. The aspiring one lies as dead, for he did not know his Savior. They who stand about, who are the welcomers, wait in uncertainty. The beauteous one bends over the prostrate man and says, "Revive, this is not a place where death rules." He moves, and she says, "Raise yourself and cast away the residue of your mortality." SCL 2:5. The aspiring one opens his eyes. He sits up. He shields his eyes before the vision of beauty. He is blinded by it, and she gives him his heart. The handmaidens weep, and their tears are the blood of the aspiring one's life. The beauteous one says, "I have come that you who are dead might live, that you who are blinded might see, that you who were deceived might know truth." The soul self says, "I have come to embrace you. I have come to protect you. I have come to shield you. I am your refuge." SCL 2:6. That which is the Kohar says, "I have come to brighten up your life. I am you, as you are me. I have waited for you. I have wept for you, and rejoiced when you rejoiced. I have never forgotten you while we have been apart. I have heard every word spoken, and these are recorded for you. I have recorded every sight. I have recorded every sound. I have recorded every smell and every taste. Every memory is secure for you. Here I give you form and substantiality." SCL 2:7. This is the herald. He stands between this man and his Kohar, and they together, with the adjuster and the welcomers, go to the hall of judgment and stand before the Lord of life, the master of destinies. Now come the lords of eternity, who are the lesser gods, and they enter the gates of splendor. The balancer comes from his secret place. The greeter to darkness stands at his door, and the greeter to splendor stands at his door. They face each other. The welcomers, compatible companions of this man's earthly life, stand about. They are there in the hall of judgment. SCL 2:8. The balancer causes two fluid-like fluctuating columns, which stand on either side of the Kohar, and one takes the form of the aspiring one, but it is horribly malformed because it mirrors all his wickedness and weakness. The other shines brightly, for it mirrors all his goodness and spiritual qualities. Then the two columns merge back into the Kohar, and the adjuster adjusts with justice and mercy. Then the aspiring one stands forth in his Kohar and in his true likeness, which is a blending together of all his incarnational likenesses. SCL 2:9. The aspiring one is drawn towards the right-hand door. He passes through and sets foot on the rainbow road. He is accompanied by the welcomers, the companions of his earthly life, who are now revealed to him in their true likenesses. They sing, they dance, they rejoice, and there is much gladness in the reunion. The word of truth is established. It is fulfilled. The ancient promises are fulfilled. He who departs shall return. He who sleeps shall awaken. He who dies shall live. The aspiring one has passed into the regions of glory. SCL 2:10. Now behold the body, vacated by the vehicle of life. It slumbers in its death wrappings, for the enlivened spirit has flown. The earthly body alone stays and cannot hold itself together. It prepares to fall apart and decay. The companions of the dead take it into their company. It will be made incorruptible and become a communicating door. It is given the things which rightly belong to the dead. SCL 2:11. Those who remain on earth fear the life shadow of the one who has gone on before them. The body is bandaged in its death wrappings. It is purified. It is made clean. It is provided with the necessities. Thus the life shadow shall dwell at peace within the empty body. It believes it to be its abode. It shall not wander. O shadow, do not wander. Remain within the tomb. Seize any who come to steal. Seize any who would break the body. Seize any who would open that which is closed. Seize and haunt. Seize and haunt. SCL 2:12. The companions of the dead speak thus. The life shadow of this man, who was, is never restless. It never wanders. It is ever protecting. It is ever watchful. It remains, for it is bound to the empty corpse by the restraining thongs. SCL 2:13. They say the spirit of this man has awakened in the land of immortality. It rejoices in the land beyond the horizon. He is a hero of the horizon. Offend him not by thinking that he is dead. He cannot die, for he is with the ever-living. He has not gone away to die. He has departed to live elsewhere. Let the moisture of his body return to the waters of the earth from whence it came. Let the things of hardness in his body return to the dust from whence they came. Let his bones rejoin the stones which once they were. SCL 2:14. Weep not, for your tears and lamentations restrain his eager spirit. Sing the death dirge, that its echoes may sound the tocsin in the region of light, and the splendid ones and the welcomers come to the place of appointment. It is unfitting to force gladness on a sorrowful heart, but be sad only for a temporary parting. SCL 2:15. Let not the earthly body of this man, who was, become destitute, surrounded with care and affection, so that it may transmit the substance of life. Sustain it, so the life shadow remain within. SCL 2:16. What see you now? Gaze upon it. The frail mortal remains, enwrapped and silent, unresponsive. Ponder this. You see with the eyes of the body, which cannot perceive things of the spirit. Were the eyes of your spirit opened but a brief moment, you would perceive something entirely different, and then you would know that his shining immortal spirit walks in the company of those risen to glory. SCL 2:17. It is the time for parting, the time for farewell, for the closing of the door. SCL 2:18. O departed one risen to glory, who has left us to sorrow. As we have helped you and surrounded you with the protection of our love and our offerings, so now help us in the days of life left to us on earth. Colburn Bible, Book 3, Scrolls, Chapter 3, Registers, Part 3, SCL 3:1. Behold, one comes wearing white sandals and clad in fine linen. Arise, stand up to greet him. He bears the staff of righteousness. He brings a pearl of priceless value. Take it and become perfect. SCL 3:2. Others come, fair women and young children. His father's heir has come, and the four great ones who bear sweet waters, who spread the feast and rejoice under the strong arm of their protector. He who has gone is not forgotten, but this is the day of the living. SCL 3:3. He who has inherited ceases from weeping and begins to smile. The protecting one comes in peace. The heart in the sky is no longer small. It expands, it grows large. Thus it is also with the heart of he who lives. His days of lamentations are over, and his heart swells and grows large. SCL 3:4. The good son never ceases from faithful service on behalf of the absent one, who has escaped from the confinement of the body. The dutiful son now calls upon the absent one for protection from wandering shadows and from the molestations of life shadows. SCL 3:5. O bountiful, ever considerate one, hear the words of your faithful and dutiful son, as they ascend with the blue, penetrating smoke of fragrant incense. Let no shadow wander from your safe abode to haunt our habitations, for they who dwell therein have done you no dishonor. Safeguard the dark doorway, that things in vile forms come not near us to pollute our bodies with sickness and disease. SCL 3:6. You left, and before the waters rose again, the man of Shaddai, he who dealt harshly with the widow dwelling beside the channel of black stones, departed for his judgment. Is it not he whom you judged, and did you not deal rightly with him, when the scales went down against him? Therefore, might he not return from the region of darkness with others of his kind, and cause misfortune to fall upon us? You, he cannot harm. You are now in the place of glory, in the land beyond the western waters. Therefore send us guardians from among the glorious company, that they may spread protecting wings over our habitations. SCL 3:7. Many come bearing cakes of fine meal and barley cakes, large fat-bodied fish and meats of many kinds, honey wine in jars, and fruits in plenty. He who is absent from the feast is joyful. His arm is strong, and he issues his commands to the guardians. Cast off all gloom and be joyful, for this is not the time of sorrow, and tears have no place in your eyes. SCL 3:8. If there be benevolent life shadows beyond the protective pale, they may enter. Join with us in our rejoicing. Let us all enjoy what we have and what we share, for life is irrepressible. SCL 3:9. These are things from a foreign place, said for our brother Gwilym, according to the rites of the sons of fire, and thus it shall be for those who enter the chambers of stone. Colburn Bible, Book 3, Scrolls, Chapter 4, Registers, Part 4, SCL 4:1. No longer can the man who was speak with men on earth, for he now lives in splendor among the eternal ones. He was weighed before the assessors, and though his faults were not few, he was not outweighed in goodness. He has become a shining one, and journeys on into the spaces of heavenland, accompanied only by his compatible companions. SCL 4:2. He has ascended into the place of glory, the place of fulfillment. The years have fallen off his shoulders like a cast-off cloak, and he is young again. He is vigorous. He lives. Time cannot touch him with change, nor sorrow enter his heart. He rests, awaiting a new call to duty. SCL 4:3. He has passed through the wide hall and through the narrow portal. He has entered the land of a new dawning, and he is welcomed. His earth companions greet him. He lives. He is beyond harm. He sees the sublime visions which fulfill his yearnings. He who has served is now served. As he has sown and husbanded, so now he reaps. SCL 4:4. He continues past the place of waiting souls and sees the awaiting Kohars, who will unite with the ascending spirits of men. He bears in his hand the book of life and glides over the pure pastures past the bright dividing flame. He turns the face of compassion towards the darkness, but sees naught but fleeting shadows against the red glare. The lost ones shrink back in shame, and the man who was passes the entrance to their foul abode. SCL 4:5. Those who are left to mourn for the glorious one have dried their tears, for all is well with him. He delights in the good life, in a place of glory. He is safe in the embrace of his Kohar. He is the adoring one, whose eyes are open to splendor. He sees the sublime visions. SCL 4:6. The man who was seeks the illuminator, who will direct him in his duties. He cleanses himself in the lake of beauty and refreshes himself at the fountain of life. He sees spirits of the twilight who are purged of all their wickedness and lust. Yet they remain captive to the lords of destinies, for they are still unproven. The Lord of life will direct their passage back for trial and testing. For these there is always hope. SCL 4:7. The man who was has navigated the winding waters of life and crossed the dark waters of death, and he is now strengthened in wisdom. He takes a seat on high, that he may become an instructor and guided on the path. He becomes a brazier in the distance, a homing light to guide those who seek truth. He is purified and comes forth wearing the white mantle of greatness. SCL 4:8. Behold the splendor of his raiment and the purity of his adornments, as he sits awaiting calls for those in the heavy kingdom who seek his counsel. The seers in dark waters will amaze the people with the clarity of their visions and revelations, for the power goes forth from the man who was with manifold strength. A great being has joined the splendid company in the land of dawnlight. Over there they will say earth is worthily fulfilling its purpose when it produces men such as this. SCL 4:9. You may wonder, what are the occupations of the man who was? Does he illuminate the dark waters alone? May he not be among those who seek to enter the hearts of those who close the doors of their spirit to the instructors of wisdom? Alas, they who are heavily enshrouded in earthly wrappings are ever set a face before the instructors of wisdom. They say, what have we to do with this babble? Yet they, most of all, require enlightenment, for they are men of small minds. SCL 4:10. May he not have become a pathfinder in the night, a guide through the darkness, the star illuminating the night at its darkest hour, as the herald of the great illuminator. May he not have become a director of rays that dance on the waters, or a controller of the winds, which caress the cheek. Suffice that he rejoices in a life of splendor, so let it remain with him and his Kohar until the day when all is known, the day of full knowing. Colburn Bible, Book 3, Scrolls, Chapter 5, Registers, Part 5, SCL 5:1. These are the instructions for those who journey the outer track of the Twin Way, for those who have been laid in the chambered tombs, who followed the ways of Kimwelth. The words are those from the distant past, first spoken in a far land beyond the rolling bellows. SCL 5:2. The risen one has become the newcomer, and having passed through the clearinghouse, his departure is not delayed. No toll is required on the ferry, for the newcomer has with him the words of entrance, which have become known to him according to his deeds. He has not deviated from the path, and all is well. SCL 5:3. The ferryman comes to the place of waiting, he of the winding river, which is the tortuous channel of purification. The newcomer stands at the mooring place and proclaims, O ferryman, away to the region of the blessed ones. I am purified, purged of polluting evils. Make haste, do not delay. I am a wanderer, anxious to reach my destination. The ferryman says, From whence come you? The newcomer says, I am from Restau, and I am weary. Take me to my compatible place of abode. Let us not delay. I wish to join those united with their soul cells. Let us not dally, do not tarry, for I am anxious to depart from this somber shore. Have no fear, cautious one, for no evil dogs my footsteps. Come, let us away, bear me over the waters to the appointed place. Carry me swiftly to where spirits are regenerated and made young again. Carry me to the foot of the great stairway that ascends to the place of the immortals' courtyard of the great God. SCL 5-4. The ferryman hesitates. He says, Show me your token, that I may know you have truly passed the tests, that I may know your true destination. For it is the way with men that they think one thing, but truth lies elsewhere. SCL 5-5. The newcomer says, My token is the brightness, which, if you be no impostor, you may see shining above my head, and my introduction is the writing concerning me, written in the book of sacred mysteries. Come, bear me over the waters, so that I may tread the field of peace. See, have I not 4 attendants, 2 on either side? Let them speak for me, for they are witnesses walking in the light of truth. SCL 5-6. The ferryman says, Who stands to the pole? And the risen one answers, I will stand to the pole with my attendants, 2 on either side. You stand by to bear at the steering oar, so that our course remains straight. The ferryman says, It is well, for the current is sullen and changeful. SCL 5-7. The newcomer says, O ferrymen of the boatless ones, I am truly a man justified before all on both sides of the horizon. Before heaven and earth I have passed the test of the examiners, and am free to proceed. I am one who can claim passage by virtue of my deeds. Have not men spoken well of me after I departed from their midst? Is this not enough? It is the way with earth that if men speak of the goodness of an absent one, then he is good indeed. Truly I am a bright one. SCL 5-8. The ferryman says, Draw aside your mantle that I may see your likeness, for this is a good boat which may not be polluted. The path henceforth is hard for those who cannot be faced without revulsion. O great one, draw your mantle over again, for you are indeed among the brightest of those who pass this way. Great will be the rejoicing when you appear among your own kind, the pure of heart. SCL 5-9. Delay no longer, ferryman. Quickly over the waters to the other side. If you delay further, I will name the names of gods to men, that their unreality be exposed. I am not one to be trifled with. I am one who can dispel the clouds of illusion. I am a man of no mean qualities. Therefore, tarry no more. Let us depart. Colburn Bible, Book 3, Scrolls, Chapter 6, Registers, Part 6. SCL 6-1. The man who was becomes the pilgrim. He has crossed the waters. He has passed the grim guardian. He waits without the place of union and stands firmly. He is not afraid and stands resolute. The cool, gracious one approaches with 3 jars of water and refreshes him. SCL 6-2. The pilgrim says, Behold, O watcher at the gate, I have laid up treasure enough in the storehouse of love. Therefore allow me to pass the love of those who have gone before. See, is it not a large quantity and sufficient to draw me upward? See the love of those who remain behind. Is it not a large quantity and sufficient to draw me upward? The watcher hears his words. SCL 6-3. The grim guardian counts and weighs and says, Pass. And this man passes and goes beyond the lake of wisdom, past the winding channel of experiences, over the flooded field of reeds, to the eastern side of the region of light, where he will be renewed in birth into the higher spheres. SCL 6-4. The pilgrim now stands before the womb of heaven, where those who enter as pure seed are brought forth into union with God. This man passes by to where the attendants help him to assume the robe of glory. They welcome him. SCL 6-5. Behold, they say, his Gohar has brought this man powers to make him complete. The powers he gave into the keeping of his Gohar during the prayer times on earth have returned greatly magnified. This man has joined the joyful company. He has left his old discarded body in the region of heaviness to assume another more glorified one in the region of light. SCL 6-6. The Gohar greets the pilgrim and says, I welcome you, my own. The Gohar says to those about, This is my own. He has washed in the lake of wisdom and passed by the caverns of distrust and doubt. Let us therefore enter in peace. When the great door is opened for the united being in the east, the door leading to the place of the one true God above all gods, whose manifestations are secret mysteries. SCL 6-7. Before going further, they pass by a side entrance to the region of darkness, where vile and sorrowful things lurk, the lost ones, those who served in the ranks of evil on earth. O great Gohar, stop the ears of your own, that he may not hear the mournful wailings of the doomed ones left behind. SCL 6-8. They who are the companions of the pilgrim cry out, O Gohar, guide your own right. Guide him up the ladder of life, which he must traverse again. Strengthen its rungs, support him so he bears lightly upon them. Let not the rungs break beneath his weight. This is the test of deeds long since done, where evil bears down heavily. SCL 6-9. O Gohar, your own is weak and falters, yet your arms are strong, therefore lift them to support him, that he may surmount to the heights above. Do this, that he may sit with those who have understanding and perception, that his feet may be welcomed in the fields of peace, and that he may take his place among the glorious ones. SCL 6-10. Blessed is the Gohar, who safeguards all memories, storing them as men store corn, who retains them for the use of the reborn ones, who can recall all that men forget and can draw forth a memory as men draw water from a well. The Gohar is the eternal recorder. Pilgrims become risen ones and enter their Gohars as a soul enters a body, and in unity they become glorious ones. Colburn Bible, Book 3, Scrolls, Chapter 7, Registers, Part 7, SCL 7-1. This is the manner whereby the aspiring ones of earth may cross the dread horizon through residence within the cavern of stone. It is thus that men come to know the truth concerning the realms of glory beyond the western horizon. But it is a path beset by great dangers and manifold terrors, and many return witless. SCL 7-2. The aspiring one is of earth. He is earthbound. He sits within the cavern, before the cauldron of rebirth and regeneration, and inhales the smoke from the brew of release. He rises above himself, flying on wings of 5 feathers, the names of which are recorded in the book of secret mysteries, wherein are the awful recipes. There it is written that he may ascend like a falcon, and cannot go otherwise than as a falcon. He may not go in the manner of any other bird. SCL 7-3. He escapes the call of earth, its fetters fall from him. The aspiring one leaves his attendants behind. He is not with them. He is not of earth, neither is he of heaven. He is at the place where the two meet and intermingle. SCL 7-4. His body moves without the spirit and partakes of the sour yellow bread of wide vision. The aspiring one drinks the brew of gray barley and sips long at the wine of Harish, eating the cakes of green-brown Horus. He eats the fruit of the releasing tree and drinks the brew of black fungus, which is in the smoke goblet. Thus he sleeps, and the attendants lay him down in the receptacle called the womb of rebirth. He is in the place of visions, but remains like the masthead bird. SCL 7-5. He shall be covered and made so that in his struggles he rise not. His voice is heard speaking in a strange tongue, as he calls on his fathers, who have gone before, and now preside over affairs beyond the wide lake. His body becomes still as he enters the dazzling chamber, which is the doorway to twin vision. SCL 76. Now he must penetrate the walls of dry air, which bar his passage, and rise into the rainbow-colored clouds of radiance, which are above, high up. He looks below him and sees the waters of the winding canal of experience, and understands the meaning of all that had befallen him. Now he has four eyes, these being the inner and outer eyes, and rising higher, he attains the heights of wide consciousness. SCL 77. Here he meets the Pathfinder and follows him swiftly. He speaks rightly to the Guardian. He shields his eyes when passing the Lurker on the threshold, and goes on until he comes to the abode of the Opener of the Ways. SCL 78. Now the body of the aspiring one becomes restless, and those who attend him place the power of Hori over his face. He hears the voice of the sun god, which says, I know the necessary names. I am the knower of names. I know the name of the limitless one. Above the lords of the east and west, I am one most powerful. SCL 79. The aspiring one becomes covered with moisture. He rises, he shouts, he struggles. The companionable watchers know he has left the protection of the sun god, that he has been seized by the fiends of darkness, but he struggles and prevails over them, and all is well. Then the aspiring one returns. SCL 710. 100 shining suns whirl above. A whisper rolls around like thunder. Lights of manifold hues sway above, like the river reeds in the wind. All things appear to dance in a shimmering haze, then turn over and fold back into themselves, and such beauty is produced that the human tongue cannot describe it. All things take upon themselves shimmering forms, through which other forms can be seen. Great melodic music throbs all around, while everything pulsates, a soft rhythm. The air is filled with voices of unearthly sweetness. Glory and splendor are everywhere. Then the aspiring one awakes. SCL 711. He is raised. Behold, he comes forth and walks as one bemused by a vision of glory. He staggers. He cannot walk unsupported. His throat burns, and his mouth is overgrown with dryness. His head resounds with drum beats. He is given the sweet waters in the cup of forgetfulness, and drinks deeply. All is well. He is a reborn one. He is an enlightened one. He is one resurrected from the cavern of stone. Colburn Bible, Book 3, Scrolls, Chapter 8, Registers, Part 8. SCL 8.1. These are the supplications of Ilkeb, the stranger, who came from the land of rising waters, and was known to us as the opener of the ways. He came under the wings of the firehawk. He was the first of the scarlet-robed ones, the right hand of Glanvanus, that was in the time of our fathers' fathers, and the tongue of the seafarers is no longer in the mouth of men. SCL 8.2. O great being of beauty, brilliant one, who greets the newcomers, arriving in the place beyond the western horizon. This woman is your daughter is she. See, she is pure in spirit and clean in heart. She is modest and womanlike, so let her pass to live in the pastures of life, in the land of new dawning, where all is wholesome. SCL 8.3. Let her be purified by the maiden of Arshafa. Let them purify her. Let her be washed and dried by the attendants at the clean, sweet waters of life. Let the 9 delicate ones minister to her. Let her be clothed in garments of decency, for she is a womanly woman. O great and glorious one, give this woman your hand. Clasp her hand with womanly tenderness. Spread out your falcon wings over her. Spread protecting wings around her. She has followed the tedious ways of womankind, and has glorified life with her presence. She has endured affliction with patience, and made her home hearth a place of peace and contentment. Let her roam the pastures of the blessed ones, and penetrate into the furthest regions of light. SCL 8:4. I raise my hands in supplication. The flame is lit. It burns brightly. Fragrant incense is placed in the bowl, and it becomes aglow. Its sweet perfume rises into the recesses above. O happy risen one, O beautiful being glowing with womanly goodness, treasurer of all the virtues, purify yourself for admittance into the higher regions. The incense we offer here is your indrawn breath of renewed life. It fills your lungs. You breathe, and because you breathe, you live. This is the best incense from the land of Wemi, differing not from that which our fathers knew when they traveled the water road. O beautified one, my heart lingers at the place where you rest. My heart is with you, entwined with yours. How sweet your breath! How pleasant your perfume! How gentle your whispers! How delicate the rustle of your attire! O newly become beauteous one, you are not alone. SCL 8:5. Rise, blue perfumed smoke, rise, cleaning fragrance. Rise, sweet, wholesome offerings, rise like fluttering birds on the wings of purified air, to the glorious regions of light which lie away beyond our poor perception. Accept our sweet fragrance, O beautified one, inhale our sweet smoke. O ever delicate one, may you enjoy the due reward of your labors and privations of your selfless sacrifices. Be ever contented and peaceful. O dutiful wife and loving mother, hear our words as they rise to you in the softly smoldering incense, which comes shipborne to these shores. SCL 8:6. Hear the voices of the waiting welcomers, greeting the beauteous one, who now joins them. They say, cast off the old worn garment, and array yourself in garments of radiant light, in the clothes of splendor which have awaited you. Bedeck yourself in the well-earned jewels of spiritual reward. SCL 8:7. Henceforth you shall dwell here, walking about freely to be honored and loved. Here you will be renewed by alert, vigorous, and far-reaching. The power of your spirit shall stretch out to every place. You take thought and fly on hawk's wings. Your desire becomes a chariot with wings of light. SCL 8:8. Beyond the place of your first destination is the kingdom of the Lord of the distant sky. There he will permit manifestations in glory. There henceforth you shall walk in strength and beauty, being ever filled with life and power, garmented in loveliness for all eternity. SCL 8:9. There floodwaters of a glorious fluid, light unknown, here rise and fall in moderation, and therein you may bathe daily and taste the revitalizing rests. Here your thirst may be slacked at the well of divine essence, and your appetite appeased by the strange bread of everlasting life. SCL 8:10. This is your destiny in the land beyond the veil. Therefore lift up your face in joy. Rise, lovely loveliness. You are one destined to be numbered among the shining ones, and are warmly welcomed into the company of the fragrant ones. O happy one, who enhanced earthly life with your presence, this is your reward. Many have done mighty things, but you have served with constancy and diligence, adding the small grains of goodness to the pile of merits until it exceeded in weight the great things done by others. We hail you, O victorious one. SCL 8:11. The welcomers say among themselves, how fair and bright the face of this newcomer! How fine must have been her life in the region of heaviness! Behold, here she is renewed and made young again, but with a loveliness unknown in the life left behind. SCL 8:12. When she goes forward from here, she is within her Kohar. They are one. Her vision is through the Kohar. Her smell is through the Kohar. All she senses is through the Kohar. All she does and knows is through the Kohar. SCL 813. Behold, she is among the chosen. Henceforth she becomes an opener of the way. For those of her blood, glorious is she, and blessed are they. SCL 814. Those are the supplications made for Milvin, daughter of Melan, son of Margit, the stranger according to the rites of the sons of fire. Ardwith kept it, and it was done into this form at the place called Koranamba. Colburn Bible, Book 3, Scrolls, Chapter 9, Registers, Part 9, SCL 9:1. This concerns the mystery of the twice born. It relates to those born again, to those who have endured the awfulness of the false death, which many do not survive, who have drunk deeply from Caladwin, the smooth, bitter brew, which releases the spirit, who have entered Ogafnam through the thundering doors. This is their path. SCL 9:2. The door of heaven stands ajar, the doors of vision have been opened, and now the cavern of vision is revealed. The spirit bearing waves from the abyss have been freed, the rays of the great light have been set free, and the guides and watchers have been placed in their positions by the Constant One. SCL 9:3. The welcomers stand back, for this is not their stage. The brilliant one is there, and another who is the reciter, and he explains the visions. O brave, stout-hearted one, Shaltash, to be. The things you behold are the things seen by the great ones of earth when they came this way in their hour, and were returned back to life. They were truly men of wisdom, well versed in the mystic procedures, men who knew their position and parts. SCL 9:4. Behold the twin stars. These embody the midwifery powers drawing the twice-born back to their places of origin. They who are with them are the champions of light and darkness. One you must choose as your companion, but the choice must be made according to the law of affinity. Otherwise, you are lost. SCL 9:5. The pool wherein you gaze is earth life. The brilliant light above, far greater than the sun, is the manifestation of the one God, but it is not He. The rays dancing about are the gods, distorted reflections of what is, distorted reflections of truth, shadows of reality. The sparkly motes are souls. They descend from the light to manifest in darkness. SCL 9:6. The clouds obscuring the lesser lights are the clouds of misconception, which darken the face of wisdom. SCL 9:7. The dark twins standing by the pillar are delusion and illusion, the constant beguilers of men. The stream of clear water is truth, and the waters of truth constantly shear away the clay pedestal of falsehood. SCL 9:8. The brightness you see before you, and to the right is the naked spirit displaying itself in isolation. It is neither in a mortal body nor within the Kohar. Beyond it is a much greater brightness, reflected from afar, which is the Kohar of Kohars, which men cannot yet understand. SCL 9:9. The repulsive shapes, which are behind the flame on your left, are doomed spirits, which once were the enlivening forces within men. Now they grovel in slime and filth, denizens of the mire. But their fate is just, for they themselves were the judges. The darkness beyond the murk will not become greater darkness, cannot change to light, for when light comes into darkness, there is no darkness, it ceases to exist. SCL 9:10. The gloominess and shadow scene you see forward on your left-hand side is the region of heaviness, where mortals sojourn. The flickering lights which appear here and there are the joys of earth, while the darker spots are where there are sorrows and suffering. The redness is anger and strife. The blue whiteness is love and compassion. SCL 911. The brightness above and ahead is the region of lightness, where the risen ones rejoice, for there they welcome their earth companions and are happy in reunion. Behold, here is a rising one, newly arrived. See, she flies upward on the wide wings of spirit, and loving arms reach out to welcome her. The star-girt roadway you see rising before you is that trodden by the countless risen ones who have gone before. Now advance towards the left. SCL 912. The abyss now before you is the mouth of earth, and see, it opens and speaks to you, bidding you farewell. Listen carefully, for it will retell your deeds, your accomplishments, and your omissions. If they weigh against you, then cast yourself into the abyss, for you are unworthy to survive this trial. Go no further, nor can you turn back, lest you become prey to the foul lurker in the darkness. SCL 913. If you have not been found wanting in the weighing, then step forward boldly and without fear, for the mouth will close to let you pass. If you are not numbered among the triumphant ones, then better by far that you be swallowed forthwith, than that you survive to meet the dread lurker, the devouring horror, and be returned to earth a witless, empty shell. SCL 914. Beyond the abyss lies a stretch of blue water, which contains the pool of wisdom and the pool of purification. Therein you must bathe and refresh yourself. The trees growing to your right bear the fruits of spiritual nourishment. Eat and become strong. Know, as doing so, that the things done, thought, and visualized on earth become qualities which are here transmuted into the things and experiences of this nature. SCL 915. Pass between the waters and the trees, and you will see a cliff against which is a ladder, the rungs of which are bound in leathern thongs, made from the hide of the bull of the night sky. This ladder which rises before you is the ladder of experience. Its two supports are experience in the body and experience in the spirit. The rungs are your daily deeds and thoughts and fantasies of your earthly life. Now is the test. Will your daily deeds and secret thoughts support your ascent, or are they incapable of bearing you upward? See, above is your Kohar. Call upon it for help, for therein you may have stored a reserve of spiritual strength. Or, perchance, it may be barren and empty, only you know. Those who uphold the ladder are the lords of the ladder, and they greet you as the ascending one. SCL 916. The ladder leads onto a plateau, and beside you appears the strangely garbed reciter, who sweeps his arms about and says, "All wherein things manifest is the firmament, which was before the beginning and still is in the beginning. Its darkness was pierced by just a single ray from the Son of God. But later, when the first spirits entered, the firmament was brightened, and it was divided by heaviness and lightness. Then, when it was set apart, it was divided by the entry of dark spirits, whose need was for a place, with which they had a somber affinity. Therefore, the firmament of lightness is divided. There is a place of light for the victorious ones, and a place of darkness for those who could not rise to victory. There are regions of gloom and shadow, regions of twilight and shade. There are regions of light in many hues, regions ranging from dazzling lights to dim light. There is a veil across the firmament, dividing heaven from earth, and each spirit departing from earth penetrates through this veil, going to its appointed place, carried by the winds of affinity. Arriving there, the spirit, good or bad, strengthens and extends its compatible territory. SCL 917. The Kohar is the knower, and the spirit is the known. All knowledge is with the knower, but the known can tap it so it flows out into the known. The Kohar receives the spirit seed in heaven, for there it is as the body is on earth, even as the earthly body is made of things from the region of heaviness, so is the Kohar made of things from the region of lightness. SCL 918. These things are said by the reciter before he leads you to the place where sleeps a serpent. And pointing to it, he says, Behold, the serpent, it sleeps at the bole of a tree, from which hangs the body of man, the tree of his backbone. It is on guard, safeguarding the precious gem of spiritual powers, which lies enwrapped in the threefold covering. To obtain the gem, the serpent must be aroused and then overcome. To rouse this serpent is a thing not to be lightly undertaken, for it causes a fire to mount into the heart, which may destroy the brain with delusions and madness. Only the twice born can really obtain the gem. SCL 919. You pass on with the reciter, who will say, These are the things you must establish in your heart, the knowledge of the 8 roads along which you must travel to reach the land of the Westerners. These will bring you to the 12 first portals leading to the land of shadows. Here I will recite for you the 22 deeds of wickedness you have not done. You will then pass through the land of shadows as if it were your hour, and beyond it come to the great portal, where it must be established before the great guardian that you have ever done all within your power to live according to the 12 virtues. Then you will pass through the portal to the hall of judgment. Here, for the first time, your light is revealed, and it is made known whether your tongue has spoken in accordance with the things within your heart. SCL 920. Many are they who know the words of the tongue, but sever these from what is written in the heart. If the words of the tongue are copied from the writings of the heart, and are a true copy, then cross to the place of assessment, where your true form and likeness will be displayed for all to see. SCL 921. A curtain of darkness descends. There is a heavy, dark mist. Then the muffled crash of thundering doors. The aching body reclines within the tomb of stone. The questing pilgrim has returned to his home heaven. He has learned truths he could never learn on earth, and now knows the grand secret. Faith is replaced with certainty, and he is now an initiated one. Colburn Bible, Book 3, Scrolls, Chapter 10, Registers, Part 10, SCL 10:1. My God and Father, my Creator and Governor, supreme and immortal soul, I come to you as a wayward son comes to his father. I come as the world-weary wanderer comes home. I come as the victorious, battle-bludgeoned warrior comes to the place of his rest. I am one who has passed the trials. I am one who has survived the challenges. SCL 10:2. I have returned full of wisdom and knowledge, the fruits of long years in your earthly place of instruction. There I was diligent. I was not a waster of time. I was not a man of idleness. I am proved worthy. I, your son, have come home. SCL 10:3. The virtues I developed on earth are the messengers that sped before me. My qualities hastened to announce my coming. They sped on invisible wings so that only those sensitive to that which emanated from me knew of their coming. They came as perfume carried on the wind. They announced me. They heralded me. They gave salutations to the spirits in the bright abodes. Yet I have not forgotten the dwellers in terror, and a small dark spirit of the twilight has gone forth to make known to them my departure from earth. This, that should any there know of me, they may be made aware that I am not of their dismal company. Will there be weeping there in the dank, dreary darkness? SCL 10:4. I surmounted the trials of existence in heaviness. Now my spirit can speed like the lightning flash. I am one who has accomplished what had to be done. I have governed my affairs not wholly by earthly standards, but by the greater ordinances of heaven. I have carefully read the books of instruction and listened to the interpreting words of the wise. SCL 10:5. He who tests hearts and reads thoughts has weighed me, and I was not found wanting in the balances. I am a cool one for my thoughts. Rest in peace. I am not numbered among the hot ones, whose thoughts consume them as the fire consumes wood. SCL 10:6. I have passed the nameless ones to come into the presence of the Great One, whom no man names, whose name is not knowable to men. I have reached the destination of ages. I have achieved the ultimate goal. I have put on the mantle of immortality and the robe of light which the heavenly weavers prepared for me. SCL 10:7. I am a little one who comes in littleness and not greatness. I am a humble one, and come not in pomp and grandeur, for these are things of the four-quartered earth, having no place here. I have done things which have been wrong, but these were done in ignorance and not willfully or with malice. SCL 10:8. O watchers, announce to the lords of light and to the lords of darkness that I am one who has penetrated the mystic veil, but is destined to return to the realm of heaviness. O watchers, announce that I am now a self-knowing, everlasting spirit. O Father of the gods, who is above all, issue the decrees of fate which ensure that henceforth I live a life of service, that I may live purposefully when I return to fulfill my destiny. Colburn Bible, Book 3, Scrolls, Chapter 11, Registers, Part 11. SCL 11:1. My heart, my spirit, my Kohar, guardian of my memories, cast not your words in the balances against me. My faults and failings are not few, for no mortal man is perfect, yet they weigh lightly against my qualities and good deeds. Say not that I have wrought evil to any man wilfully or with malice. Say not that I am a man of wickedness. Let me not suffer sorrowful remorse in the gloom and darkness, but let me live forever within the region of the light. SCL 11:2. I have done deeds of goodness and led a goodly life. I have overcome the wiles of wickedness and avoided the snares of temptation. I have lived in peace with my neighbors. I have dealt justly and fairly with them, and have not uttered words of malice to stir up strife. I have not gossiped about my neighbors, nor engaged in idle chatter concerning their affairs. These things are not easy, and as no man is perfect, I have at times been bad-tempered under provocation. Therefore, speak words that will weigh in the balances against my failings. SCL 11:3. I have not slandered any man, nor have I willfully caused pain and suffering. I have not caused the widow to weep, nor the child to cry without cause. I have dealt justly with my servants and with the servants of others, and I have been loyal to my masters. I have not slain unlawfully, nor wounded any man wilfully. Yet no man is perfect, and when my burdens have weighed heavily upon me, I have spoken harshly. Therefore, speak words that will weigh in the balances against my failings. SCL 11:4. I have never oppressed a poor man, or taken from him what is his by virtue of my position. I have never oppressed the weak, or cheated in the substance of metals. I have never said to a hungry woman, lay with me and you shall eat, for this is a vile thing. I have not lain with the wife of another man, or seduced a child, for these are abominations. Yet no man is perfect, and few are commanders of their thoughts. Therefore speak words that will lighten these things in the balances. SCL 11:5. I have not turned the water of another, so that he is deprived of his full measure. I have not stopped flowing waters in their course. I have not kept fodder from cattle, nor allowed the pastures to be neglected. I have not caused any child to know fear without reason, nor have I beaten one in bad temper. I have not transgressed the statutes of the king, Yet no man is perfect, and sometimes that which is right in its day becomes wrong in another. Therefore, speak words that will weigh in the balances against my wrongdoings. SCL 11:6. I have not stolen, neither have I taken the possessions of any man by deceit. I have not divided the household of any man, nor separated him from his wife or children. I have not quarreled with any man because of ignorance. I have not turned from my duties or failed in my obligations. I have not hidden my errors or buried my failings. Yet no man is perfect. Therefore, speak words that will weigh in the balances for me. SCL 11:7. I have never behaved boisterously in a sacred place, nor have I ever defiled one. My hand has not been demanding because of my office, nor have I dealt haughtily with those who came to me with a plea. I have not increased my position by false words or writings, yet my burden has been increased because of the perversity and wilfulness of men, and no man is perfect. Therefore, speak words that will weigh in the balances against my weaknesses. SCL 11:8. I have not permitted envy to eat my heart, nor malice to corrupt it. I have not been loud of mouth, nor spoken words of boastfulness. I have never slandered another, or uttered words of falsehood. My tongue has never escaped from the control of my heart. I have never derided the words of another, because they passed my understanding. Nor have I stopped my ears to words of enlightenment. I have never hidden myself to observe others, nor have I ever disclosed the secret designs or doings of others, unless they be of evil intent. Yet no man is perfect. Therefore speak words that will weigh in the balances for me. When I have done wrong, I have adjusted the scales that weighed down heavily against me. I have not hidden my weaknesses and failings in dark places, but washed them clean in the sunlight of honest compensation. SCL 11:9. I have not succumbed to the lures of lewdness, nor has my tongue spoken slyly of things which should be kept private. I have not peeped at nakedness or pried into another's privacy. I have respected the modesty of womankind and the innocent delicacy of childhood. Yet men are as they are and imperfect, while thoughts stray wilfully and are not easily restrained. Therefore, speak words that will weigh in the balances for me. SCL 11:10. O Great One, protect me. O Kohar, save me. Hear the words of my heart. I was one who was ever mindful of what was right and what was wrong. I did what I thought was right and shunned that which I thought was wrong. I listened to those who were wiser than I and helped those who were less privileged. Can man do more? Colburn Bible, Book 3, Scrolls, Chapter 12, Registers, Part 12, SCL 12:1. Know me and understand my ways. I am one who sees the past and the future. I look into hidden places. I am one who wanders freely. I am one who can be reborn. I am one who knows the speech of the released. I am an uplifter. The climbers come to me, and I support them. I lift them up. I strengthen. Therefore bring me the sustenance of smoke. SCL 12:2. I hear, and I hear not, for what I hear is heard by others. I speak, and I speak not, for what I speak is in the mouths of others. I weep, and I weep not, for my weeping is in the weeping of others. I am the uplifter. The climbers come to me, and I console them. I enlighten them with words of hidden wisdom. Thus they find the way. SCL 12:3. I am one who comes forth when the circle is formed, when the twin lamps have been lit and the incantations made. I come forth from the consecrated place and bear the staff of power. I know the secrets of the dark waters and the secrets of blood. I am a wanderer in strange places. I am one who does not fear to tread the forbidden paths. I am an uplifter. The climbers come to me, and I reveal the way. SCL 12:4. I am the opener of tombs. I am the dweller in the stone caverns. I am the one who precedes the herald of the companions. I am the swimmer in the waters of wisdom. I am the discoverer of hidden places. I am the one who hovers above the still waters. I am the wanderer with the winds. I am an uplifter. The climbers come to me and are comforted. They thirst and I refresh them. They hunger and I fill them with food. SCL 12:5. I am the sitter beneath the sycamore. I am the eater of the rowan. I am the heart within the heat of the fire, and the eye within the candle flame. I am the uprising hawk and the contented dove. I am one who has tamed the serpent and drawn forth its secrets. I am one who has many eyes and sees what is written in the night skies, whose ears hear the whispers at the edge of the great waters. I am one whose right foot rests on the earth, and whose left foot rests on the firmament. I am one who faces all spirits alike, and knows their true nature. I am an uplifter. The climbers come to me, and I give them peace. SCL 12:6. I am one who gazes into the deep dark pool, reading the things hidden therein. I am the caller forth of the deformed ones, and the tongue of the bright ones. I am he of the everlasting form. I am he who provides stability to faltering forms, and the interpreter who spans the veil. I am an uplifter. The climbers come to me, and I provide their guide and their guardian. SCL 12:7. Know me and understand my ways. Invoke me through the rite of smoke and wine. Call me forth into the circle of stone. But beware, for lest you hold the 7 keys and understand the nature of the 3 rays, you are lost.